Welcome to this video on the topic of algebra. In this video, I'm going to show you how to apply something called the factor and remainder theorem, or in simple terms, it's a method of performing long division with algebraic expressions. So consider an example 1 here. We've got this x to the 4 minus 7x to the cubed, and so on. And what it says is that it's made up of the factors x plus 1, x minus 4, x plus 5, and x minus 9. So what that means is if we multiply all of these factors together here, what we're going to get is an expression as seen up here. Now the factor and remainder theorem tells us, or it's going to be a method in which we can get our top algebraic expression up here and divide it by any of these factors here. And we'll be able to verify that these are indeed factors. So to do this technique, what we do is we start off as if we're applying some long division. So we'll go for x plus 1. We'll prove that that is a factor. So start off x plus 1, and then I'm going to write out the full expression up top. So x to the 4 minus 7x to the 3 minus 37x to the square plus 151x, and then that's a plus 180 left over. And then we simply finish off our notation like so. And I'll move this down just slightly for more space. Alright, now the way in which this works is similar to long division in that we ask ourselves, what do we need to multiply x by to make it equal x to the 4? And that's as simple as saying, well, we multiply x by x cubed, and that will give us x to the 4. So we'll say x cubed goes up here. Now if we do that, then we also have to multiply the 1 by the x to the 3, and that will give us x cubed here. So writing that out, we're going to get x to the 4 plus x to the 3. Performing some subtraction, the first term is going to come out as 0, so x to the 4 take x to the 4, that's 0. Then minus 7x cubed take x cubed, that will stack to become minus 8x cubed. Now getting the next term along the line, we're going to pull that down and put it just underneath here. Now next question is, what do we multiply x by here to make it equal 8 or negative 8x cubed? And the answer to that is we'll just multiply it by minus 8x squared. So that will give us minus 8x squared. Then multiply minus 8x squared times the 1. That will come out as minus 8x squared, like so. And I made a mistake. This first one here, it's not squared, it's cubed. Like so. Alright, going for some subtraction. First term is nothing, of course. And the second term, minus 37x squared, take minus 8x squared. That's going to come out to be minus 29x squared. Getting the next term along, we bring it down. And then we ask ourselves, what do we need to multiply x by to make it equal minus 29x squared? And of course it's nice and easy, minus 29x. Writing that down, minus 29x squared. And then we're going to go minus 29x. We go for some subtraction. And first term is nothing. Then the second term is going to be 151x minus negative 29x. That will come out to be positive 180x. Grabbing the final term over here, we bring that down. Then it will be positive 180. Then we ask ourselves, what do we need to multiply x by to make it equal 180x? And nice simple one, and you just multiply it by 180. So you get 180x, and then the 1 over here is going to turn into 180 as well. and going for the subtraction, we get 0 and the final term at 0. So because it comes out as 0, we know that x plus 1 is a factor of the polynomial seen over here. So we could rewrite that as x plus 1 multiplied by x to the 4 minus 7x cubed, actually not bad, x to the 3 minus 8x squared minus 29x plus 180. So this expression here is equivalent to this expression here, but this one's more factorized. Let's have another go, and we'll do it with x minus 4 now. Alright, same technique is going to apply. X minus 4, what do we need to multiply the x by to make it equal x to the 4? The answer to that is x cubed. So we're going to get x to the 4 minus 4x cubed. Now we're going to go for some subtraction. That's going to come out as 0. And then minus 7x cubed minus negative 4x squared. That's going to be minus 3x cubed. Going across, getting the next term, bringing it downstairs. We're going to get minus 3 or 37x squared. Next question is, what do we need to multiply x by to make it equal minus 3x cubed? Well, the answer to that is multiply by minus 3x squared. That will give us minus 3x cubed. And then the 4 here, minus 4 times minus 3x squared. That will come out as positive 12x squared. Going for the subtraction, we're going to get 0 over here. And then the minus 37 minus 12, that will stack to be minus 49x squared. Getting the next term along, we bring it down 151x, and then we ask ourselves, what do we need to multiply x by here to make it equal minus 49x squared? And the answer to that is multiply by minus 49x. That will give us minus 49x squared. And then the 4 times minus 49, positive 196. Go for some subtraction. First term is nothing. Second term is 151 take 196. That will come out to be negative 45x, like so. Then we're going to grab our final term and bring it downwards. That will be positive 180. Alright, cool. So what do we need to multiply x by to make it equal negative 45x? Well, multiply it by negative 45. So that will give us minus 45x. And then 4 times, or minus 4 times minus 45. Well, that's going to come out to be positive 180. So when we go for the subtraction once again, both of the terms are going to cancel each other out. So what we find is that x minus 4 is a factor of this guy here, and we can rewrite it as shown here. Simple. Alright, let's go on to a more vexing sort of question, in that the process is exactly the same, but the challenge arises from the fact that rather than dealing with a factor that's simply an x plus whatever, it's a x squared, so it's a non-linear factor over here, so a quadratic factor. We'll show that this factor x squared plus 3x plus 4 is a factor of x to the 4 minus x cubed by simply following the same process. So we're going to go off by saying x squared plus 3x plus 4. Go for some division. Alright, cool, we're set up. So the way in which we do this is basically the same as before, in that we look at the first term in the expression and we ask ourselves, what do we need to do? So what do we multiply x squared by to make it equal x to the 4? And in this case, we're simply going to multiply it by an x squared. So x squared times x squared will be x to the 4. Then our 3x is going to turn into 3x cubed. And our 4 is going to turn into plus 4x squared. Like so. Now when we go for the subtraction, what we're going to find is that the first term is 0. The second term is going to be minus 4x cubed. And the third term in the line is going to come out as minus 44x squared. Now getting the next term along the line, we're going to bring that down. So we get minus 112x. And we ask ourselves, what do we multiply the minus 4 by? Or what do we multiply x squared by to make it equal minus 4x cubed? And in our case, we're just multiply it by minus 4x. So we get the minus 4x cubed there. 3 times minus 4x, that's going to be minus 12x squared. And then 4 times minus 4x, that's going to be minus 16x, like so. I'm going for the subtraction. We're going to come out as 0 for the first term. The second term, the 44 take minus 12, or minus 44 add 12, that will come out as minus 32x squared. And then the second term will come out as negative 96x, I believe. Now grabbing the final term, we bring it down. We're going to get the negative 128 there. Then we ask ourselves, what are we going to multiply x squared by to make it equal minus 32x squared? And nice and simple, just multiply it by minus 32. So it becomes minus 32x squared times 3. That should give us negative 96x. And then the 4 over here is going to come out as minus 128. So when we go for the subtraction, like so, it's terrible, like so, we're going to get 0, then we're going to get another 0, and we're going to get another 0. So this one's actually a little bit simpler in that there's less steps involved, purely because this dividing factor is of higher order, so there's less steps involved in the long division. So writing this out in its factorized form, partially factorized form. So nice and simple. If you wanted to verify the x plus 4 and the x minus 8, you could simply divide through this factor here, and that would give you the result that it is indeed a factor. Example 3, we've got show that x to the 4 plus 5x cubed plus x squared minus 25x minus 30 has factors x squared minus 5, x plus 3, and x plus 2. So similar example to before, but rather this term in here, the x squared minus 5, it's a quadratic, but there's only 2 terms within the brackets, so slightly different process, or a little bit of pre-processing involved before we can actually do anything. So going in for the factorization, we'll go x to the 4 plus 5x cubed plus x squared minus 25x minus 30. I'm going to write the minus 5, and then I'm going to write the x squared. Then I'm going to throw in another term. Might space this out just a little bit better. So I'm going to write it as minus 5 here, and then x squared there, and a 0x in between. Reason for the 0x is that we have to have every place value represented here. Alright, now following the same steps as before, going to ask ourselves, what do we multiply x squared by to make it equal x to the 4? And in this case, just multiply it by x squared. So it'll become x to the 4. Next one is going to be 0x cubed. And then the final one is going to be minus 5x squared. Going for some subtraction, as always. First term's nothing. Second term is 5x squared. And then the final term, that's going to stack to make it 6x squared. Grabbing our next term along the line and bringing it down. That's a minus 25x. Now we ask ourselves, what do we need to multiply x squared by to make it equal 5x cubed? Well, you multiply it by 5x. Now we're going to get our 5x cubed over here. Our 0x stays 0x squared. And then our minus 5 times 5x, well, that will be minus 25x, like so. Going in for some subtraction, once again. Evaluating. 5x cubed, take 5x cubed, that will be 0. Next one is 6x squared, take 0x squared, that's just 6x squared. Minus 25x, take minus 25x, that's nothing. So nothing. Now grabbing the next term along the line and pulling it down, I'm going to get minus 30. Now evaluating this, we're going to get 6x squared. Oh, what do we need to multiply x squared by to make it equal 6x squared? Well, just multiply it by 6. So that will give us 6x squared. We'll get a 0 in between. And then 6 times 5, 6 times negative 5 is minus 30. Going in for the subtraction once again. We're going to find that we get 0, 0, 0. And thus, we've factorized, or we've shown that x squared minus 5 is a factor of x to the 4 plus 5x cubed. So rewriting this, we get x squared minus 5 and multiplied by x to the 4 plus 5x cubed plus x squared minus 25x minus 30, like so.